Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for October 25th through the 31st, 2021. So I'd just like to begin by welcoming everyone back this week and to this last full week of the month of October. And also, I like to welcome anyone who is new to the channel and you're viewing um, this or video, maybe as your first introduction to the community, Angel School community. So welcome. This month, we have, I was thinking about this morning, that this was the month of the Wheel of Fortune, because it's the card 10 and we're in the 10th month of the year. And I was thinking about, that in this month, you know, uh, this card representing a turning point. And also the thought that came to me was about the possibilities, the wheel, you never know where the wheel is going to land, so to speak. And so it is an opportunity for new possibilities, right? For things to be ending and new things to begin. So it's sort of like, I also see this as the wheel of change, the wheel of fortune. And I feel like with change, anything is possible. And so hopefully you've been able to kind of tap into the, the unpredictability of that influence and just allowing yourself to really seek out new opportunities, or to at least put to rest or put to bed things that are no longer serving you. But it's a time for real change with the Wheel of Fortune. Also, before I get really into the reading, I just want to sort of make you aware of, if you haven't had a chance to look at all the videos that were posted this month. First, the second monthly angel reading this year, that's on my channel. So if you haven't had a chance, check out the monthly angel reading, as well as the monthly angel scopes for each zodiac sign. And if you're also new to the channel, I do write daily card messages Monday through Friday. So I post them here on my YouTube channel, as well as on my Facebook page, or then they call it Business Suite. So there are links below to my different accounts where you will be able to find this information. You would have to go to the community board, I think on my YouTube page. But if you subscribe and make sure you check the all notification bell, then you will get anything that's posted here will show up in your feed, hopefully. And if you also enjoy the videos, don't forget to like them as well. I've also been offering a special offer, angel reading, my half-hour reading for $77. I've been offering since the pandemic as one full hour. So that's still available if you haven't signed up for a reading. But most importantly, if you feel called to have a reading with me, then there's a link to my webpage, theangelschool.com /services. And you would go to my channel and just select the half-hour reading as is. And then within 24 hours on the first business day, I will send you a confirmation email noting the special offer for one full hour for the month of October. Also, the instructions for how to set up the reading will be there. And the process that I use is that I assign readings, sessions in the order that I receive them, the payments. So I ask everybody just to give me your full availability within my office hours for the next 3 weeks from the starting date that I indicate, where most of my availability is pretty open. Um, and and to give me enough so that what I do is I meditate with the angels and I choose the dates that work would be best for our session together. So I would hope that you could honor that process, because it's always been a very beautiful process, and it seems to work really well for the readings. So, for me, everything, the session is um, something that I feel that it's a calling from beginning to end. So just be aware of that. And also just respond as soon as you can, even if you're not ready to submit your availability, just so I know that you received the email. Okay, so let's tune in now and just allow yourself to connect in with your heart space. And take a deep breath. And they keep writing the word Jupiter. So this is a planet of expansion, of abundance and fortune, prosperity. And this planet is also in alignment with your third eye and your fifth dimensional chakras, which your third eye chakra is like a crystal ball with um, emerald green light sort of flowing through it. And they're showing me the third eye. So this week, your intuition, and it has a sense of the way they're showing it to me is almost like the eye of an animal as well. So there's this sense of not only intuition but instincts very strong this week. So you might your clairvoyance might expand for you in a way that you tap into your primal instincts and awareness. And I feel like that I'm seeing the two of wands, and I'm seeing sort of like the um, noble person that's usually standing in the car, but I'm seeing them from the back. And it's a sense of this is an opportunity for you to really expand on your plans. So, the difference between this card and the three is that he's left his castle and his perch, um, um, where he's looking down over everything and he can see the world from that high position. And in the three, he goes down to the cliff outside of that protection, which means he's ready to activate. I know that the threes are about creation and expansion, but I would also add for this card, I think the word activate for the Three of Wands. He's ready to activate or actualize what the vision that has come to him in the Two of Wands. So in the Two of Wands, the twos are about choice, and this card is about a planning and your plans for the future. You see you're looking. He holds the world, and he's focused on how he can shape the world, and it's also about how he's inspired. Right, divine guidance. The wands are the element of spirit. So how he's inspired by God to shape the world. And they're writing in front of me compassion. So this is an opportunity this week where, for you, the potential to really get greater clarity about your purpose, about your mission, about from God, and about how you can shape the world or influence the world. Okay, so let me just, because it's very rainy today, let me turn on the light to make it a little bit clearer. Okay. So this is and so with your intuition heightened in this way, your instincts, really trust your instincts, trust your heart. Okay? And it's very important that you really listen to the way and have faith in what ideas come to you. And this is not the stage where you start erasing, or putting lines or crossing out things. This is a stage where you're open to all the possibilities. And we're still under that influence of this month of the wheel where any change is possible. And, just think about the wheel and rotating. I mean, there is this movement. There's no sense of stagnation. So don't limit. Don't think in terms of limits. Don't cross out. Don't erase. Keep everything going until you feel yourself a burning desire to move or activate in a particular direction. And be aware, they write the word agreement in front of me. Be aware of this, a sense of agreement within your entire being. Your entire being resonates with your heart, your mind, your body. Your feet want to go where your heart wants to go. Your hands wants to do what your heart wants to do. This kind of agreement. Your mind wants to only focus on this and articulate it and find every possible way to express it and to use the physical body to do it. It wants to gather all of your resources, your energy, your talents, your capabilities, and your potential. This is what they mean by the agreement. And so you don't have to push yourself. You don't have to say to yourself, okay, what is this? Okay, I gotta get it done. No, that kind of force is not what agreement feels like in our bodies. It doesn't make us feel anxious or nervous, because those are when we have a lack of clarity. And when we have a lack of clarity, we're disconnected from the clarity that is within our hearts. And so I like to ask you to pay attention to your anxiety, not to give it, to light it up, to gas it, but to be aware that it's a sign that you are not connected. And this connection can be disrupted by not getting proper sleep, diet, self-care, boundaries for yourself, not really being in tune or having being committed to your spiritual practice, your mind, body, soul practice, whatever that is, and however that comes about for you every day. It could be, that you pull cards, or that you start your day off with drawing or writing, or playing music, or some kind of craft, or yard work, or movement, or you're in your garden, whatever it is that grounds you to the earth, that grounds you in the experience. And remember that the earth is this spiritual computer of alignment and agreement with Source, God, the entire universe. And we need all of these components. We need to foster all these components, including exercise. We need to foster all of these components to have this kind of agreement. And when we start to have confusion, anxiety, we get frustrated, irritated, anything that doesn't feel good, anything that we don't like, anything that's unpleasant, it's because somewhere one of these is out of touch with the entire agreement of being that is you. And you need to rectify that by bringing that peace back into that awareness, back into that spiritual agreement. And it will feel sort of like one of the writings that will be coming out this week. They talked about the switchboard, like, the old switchboard with all the operators. And when we don't have this sort of alignment with our heart is our switchboard. It's it's a universal switchboard. There's all kinds of lines coming in. But you know what? When you're in alignment with all these parts of yourself, soul, mind, body also including the earth, the mind also not including your personal mind, but the mind of the universe, your soul, not only your soul, but when you're not in alignment with all of these things, it's like the switchboard is going off, but there are no operators to answer. And it's hard to imagine, but your soul, when you're in connection with all these things, your heart is like that operator. It just somehow harmonizes this whole communication experience. And how you feel is that you have this knowing. You get a sense of priority, number one. And you have a sense of responsibility. These things work together in concert in so many other layers that we take for granted. But when we're actually functioning, they work as seamlessly as one. And that's because that's what oneness is. And we're tapped into that oneness of being. We're aligned with it. We're aligned with our motherboard, if you will. And the motherboard knows how it has the technology to process all the various signals, codes, etc. So don't give in to the experience of your anxieties and frustrations. Use them as a signal to remind you that you need to take care of some aspect of yourself, meaning you need to make time for it to help you to reattune to your divine guidance, the switchboard of your heart. Okay, so let's take a look at the Archangel message for the week. And we have Archangel Gabriel. And if you remember in the monthly card reading, Archangel Gabriel was the archangel assigned to the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And so here we have the creative writing card. And this is really giving me a sense that communication is going to be very important this week, because Archangel Gabriel is the archangel of communication and the arts. communicative arts. So there's a sense of really being able to articulate, and this might even in your, you might have these, possibilities and dreams and things coming through, but to really intention, be clear about your intention. Like we talked about that last week in last week's videos. You may want to go back and watch that, about that part in the beginning. I don't know where it came up actually, but about the intention and how to go about that process. You might be want to journal, and I feel like that your plans in this week, that you really want to put them down on paper. You want to really sort of, it's one thing to have things flowing through your mind, but the one that's really inspiring you, and you're really focused on it, it just seems to keep, just coming through very strongly for you. Start fleshing it out, and really set that intention. Again, start general, freedom, peace. Then around that, what would this look like in your life? And then the third step is, what would it look like in a specific situation? So you go general, like peace, freedom, because these are the gifts, these are the things that the soul, this is what feeds the soul. This is what the soul is here for. This is like the lesson. So all the things that we go through, the lessons are around these kind of soul intentions, freedom. So you might be struggling in your life and you keep seeing these patterns, but what your soul is trying to get you to do is to experience and express freedom. And you maybe keep doing the opposite of that. And so this karmic lesson comes up. But start with that, and then in general, just, in all areas of your life, what would this freedom look like if you were free? How would you live it? How would you experience it? How would you express it? And then for this situation that you're working on, what does it feel like? What does it look like? Use your 5 senses. And then I think it's important. I feel like there were 5 last week, but I can't ever remember one of them. So I didn't go back and watch it myself. I have to do that. And the last one for me is being aware of the challenges. What are the challenges yourself that come up, that trigger you when you open yourself up to what you really desire? Because that's what happens. And if you're aware of that, then you won't be derailed from your goal and your priorities. And so it could be that, you find that all of a sudden you get really busy with a lot of other things that just interfere, and that's why you never get certain things done. Or it could be that, I don't know why I just saw the word supplement, but maybe there's a supplement that, keeps you, kind of helps you to, and I'm thinking of something that just helps you in your physical body to function better, and it's healthy for you. Or a support team that's supportive. Like, maybe you do things without having enough support. And so then you get overwhelmed. I mean, you have to know what your pitfalls are. If you're going to have clear intention now, because once you have that clear intention, what I've been finding in the 2 times that I've done it since I started telling you this, is like the very next moment, the next day, the very thing shows up beautifully orchestrated. But we got to make sure that we don't sabotage ourselves, because we will do that. And if we take the time to be aware of that, we will see the triggers coming. And so therefore not give them power. Okay? So Yeah, the message from Archangel Gabriel here is make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen an article or book. So whatever it is, it's like I feel like the outline of it. Just because I was seeing those cards, the two of wands, the outline of something. If it's a book you're writing, the outline, the blueprint of something, um, the strategy, the plan, whatever. But it, it will come to you in this week in some way, shape, or form. But you just can't talk about it in your head. This is why we don't manifest the things that we want, because we're focused on the thing and getting the thing, and we get to work on the thing. But your soul doesn't need things. Your human physical body needs things, but your soul doesn't need them. Your soul is eternal. It can live without everything. Okay? Um, what your soul needs, because it's in this physical experience, it needs wellness so that we don't feel unwell, ill, depressed, and develop illnesses in our physical body. And so the soul needs peace. The soul needs love. The soul needs freedom. Your I am presence is already full of these resources. It doesn't need anything because it doesn't have anything, it doesn't allow anything to throw it off of its foundation. But our souls within this human experience wavers. Everything, if you think about it, the rocking of our boat, it's all about our emotions. And the mind focusing on the things that throw the motions into sort of an uproar. So it's only makes sense that your intention has to be emotional. And once you decide what that emotion, freedom, peace, love, whatever that is that you're missing, you have to get clear in your mind. What is it that you're missing? What is it your soul needs? That's the question to ask every day, because that's the question that leads to the experience of happiness or the ability to be able to maintain it. And once you answer that question, then you have to say to yourself, well, what is this going to look like? And then once you answer that question in general, now you say, but now today, this is my intention. Now, these are the X, Y, Z situations that are coming up. How can I focus upon it, see the opportunities of this within that? How can I work towards creating that? And see, now you're in the process of manifesting. You're aligning, you're coming into agreement with, and you're gonna make sure that your hands, your speech, your eyes, your feet, where you go, who you interact with, is going to be in agreement. Find that agreement with that intention, instead of letting things be thrown at you, and then you go with whatever wind blew you. No, you stay on your course. And even when something confronts you, you stay in tune with, as if it's freedom. And then you make the decisions that allow that situation to play out, that will leave your soul with a sense of freedom still. So if there's drama, you don't need to get involved in it, because why? Your intention is freedom. And you decide in that moment and as you're listening, you can feel the agreement or disagreement from your heart, and your heart will guide you in the direction. It will help you navigate through the waters of that, no matter how many rocks are in your path. It will navigate you through it. Okay, so let's take a look at the card. Wow, and this was the card for the first part of the week, the Nine of Wands. This is the card that came up for Monday, which you shall see tomorrow on Sunday. So what the Nine of Wands is about, really hanging in there, okay, and not giving up. It's like sometimes we give up right before that turning point happens. You know what I'm talking about? And then later on you go, oh, if I had just hung in there a little bit longer. And there's this feeling like sometimes we don't know when to do that, when to take our losses and move on, or when to just stay in there. And the way that you'll know is because of your intention. That's the clarity you need to answer those difficult questions of concern in your mind at that moment, in those really challenging moments. And the thing about this card, as you see, is that in every card, this person has taken a beating. They've gone through a lot, and they're still standing there. They're still standing guard. They're protecting something that's important to them. Now, you may not be able to see it, but if you look at the wands here, it's almost like there's a mural that is painted across the wands. If they were all together like a wall, you would see this beautiful artwork. And this card actually, I think, looks most like the deck creator of this deck. And so I get the sense of her protecting her, standing up for her art, right? Even when people might criticize what we're doing, or they may not like it, because not everybody's going to like everything, it doesn't mean that you're not great at what you're doing. It just means that there are going to be people out there that it's just not right for them. But it doesn't mean it's not right for all those other people out there. And that's a large enough audience within itself. So you have to know who you are. You have to know why you're in it. You have to know what your intention is. And you have to really outline all of that for yourself, if we were just discussing, because that's how you know if where you stand is where you belong. And even if you feel that's agreement that I've been trying to passionately get across to you as they've been, pouring the signals through me, if that's how you feel, then you should stand where you are and keep waiting it out. But if you feel like the signals are going in all kinds of directions, then you need to find clarity first before giving up. Set your intention. Get a perspective about what this would look like for you. And then if nothing matches in what you're doing, then you can abandon or let this go and move on. And this could pertain to relationships or anything, career, anything. It reminds me that my grandmother used to love the Kenny Rogers song. What was it called? The guy. You gotta know when to vote. The Gambler. That song. And so, but the song says you have to know when to. But I throw this out at you as a practice of figuring that out, the knowing. All right. And we have another 9. Wow. I mean, this is interesting. And this is the 9 of Cups. And right on the heels of that, okay, that fulfillment, we've been talking about this fulfillment in every way. And with the 9s, this is a card of attainment, near completion, and independence, because the Hermit is he's independent. He knows his own counsel, right? And is wise. And so there's this sense of, in both of these cards, you see this independence exercise. She's she's, you know what? She knows what's right for her, and she knows that she needs to stand here and protect this. Okay? Here, she knows what truly fulfills her, and she knows the work that what she's doing, and she's aware, and she has such appreciation and gratitude. She's filled with this awareness. And we have to be aware of what truly gives us pleasure. And this card begs us to think about, have we really explored what gives us pleasure? Do we know what gives us pleasure? And do we give ourselves the opportunity enough to do what gives us pleasure? Because if we don't, then we are constantly struggling with this. We can't find happiness if we don't make it a priority to actually make time for the things that gives us the pleasure that we deserve. And I know that, in our lives, like, we're so caught up in, what's the right career to make the right amount of money, to this, and we're always thinking about the money and the things. But we're not thinking about the soul. And the soul doesn't need things. It needs you to be happy. And in order for you to be happy, you have to think about the intention, the spiritual intention, the emotional content behind everything that you wish to experience, because there's no way for you to recognize that you've accomplished anything. That's why many people don't know that they succeeded, because they didn't have the emotional picture outline for themselves. So they get the thing, and it's anticlimactic. It's like, okay, I have it now. I need another thing to do in order to feel better, because I feel kind of empty. And many reasons, because I don't know why I did this. All I did was just show that it's like they were proving something, right? It's like, oh, I'm strong, or oh, I'm really talented, or I'm better than you. None of this matters. None of this feels good to your soul. This kind of ambition without emotional, spiritual perspective is empty. There's no gratitude to be connected to. It will take somebody sitting down and having to point out to you all that you've done, and you might feel a little bit better. Why? Because they kind of blew smoke up your, but that's not enough. That's just not enough. That's not success. And this card always reminds us what true success is, when we feel totally fulfilled in what it is that we're doing. Because we see the opportunities of spiritual opportunities that we're constantly gaining from what it is that we're doing. Now, see, I didn't do this. I didn't make this up. Here, there's the Two of Wands. Wow. So this is the kind of thing that I'm seeing lately too, with my intuition. But here we have the Two of Wands, and it's looking back at all of this that we just talked about, which is just the perfect comment to everything. And so in your plans, it's like the Two of Wands is telling you, these are the plans, the ingredients that I need. And I have to realize that it's going to be, this is what I'm seeking, but it's not going to be easy. And so do we run at the sign of, hardship or challenges? Is that one of your pitfalls? Do you get triggered easily when you get started, let's say you start writing, I'm going to write a book. Oh, well, now I feel like I'm going to start talking to myself. God, I hate when they do this to you. It's not something I'm thinking about right now, but I've thought about it a lot. And yeah, honestly, like I'll get started. I have looked on my computers through the years and things are transferred over. I get started and when I go back and read it now, it's like, wow, did I write that? I don't even recognize that as my writing, but it's on my computer. I wrote it. And I get overwhelmed by the fact that there's going to be many more pages. And sitting there and writing in this channeled state is like, how do you continue that? And where is it going? And once you start doing that, boom, game over, right? So you have to figure out the pitfalls of that. Now, again, what I'm telling you, everything I tell you here, I don't know it before I'm going to talk to you. This is coming from our collective I am presences, all of that wisdom combined. So you've heard me say it so many times, I am learning as I'm doing it. Every reading I do, I'm learning, because my readings aren't just about talking about your future, telling you what you're going to do. My readings are about wisdom that sort of shifts you, the wisdom, your own wisdom, number one, not mine, your wisdom, that heals you, that frees you up to experience the freedom or the experience that you're actually seeking, the balance experience of writing that you're actually seeking. So yeah, it's incredible, but we have to focus. We have to make our plans, and we have to be aware that it's not going to always be easy just because we have this great feeling we want things to feel great. We're going to have to stand up for it. We're going to go through battle after battle. But those battles challenge us. It makes us, they heal us so that what we present is healing. So yeah, we're not going to be perfect when we go through it. It's not going to be perfect as it unfolds. But all of that depends on just how much. But it doesn't mean because one person does it and it's just like fluent, doesn't mean that, oh, they're better than you. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It means that your healing journey is, let's say if this was a book, it's just going to be specifically profound and enriching and invaluable to the audience that it's going to receive it. It's just going to bring this extra special clarity, because the harder your journey is, that means there's the more wisdom and clarity that's involved, the more truth speaking and seeking that will come about. All right, so let's take a look at the card from the bottom. Now I always get these two cards mixed up, but now I see it. Her 7 and 8 look similar to me, but when I think about it now, they don't. But this is the 8 of Pentacles. And so this is the sort of the worker bee card, I like to think of it as rather. And, where the person has mastered by doing. The mastery comes from doing. The mastery doesn't come because, and I don't care if someone could sit down to a piano, let's take this for an example, or paint without ever being taught. It doesn't matter. That's just talent. And it could be so brilliant and excellent that everybody's just like in awe. But if it's going to be beyond what it is at that level, the person has to do it often enough for it to grow. Nothing will grow if we do not give it attention. So if we don't keep giving it our attention, it can't really grow into something brilliant. It can't grow into the excellence. It needs practice. And we need to be aware of this responsibility, that we have to put our effort and our time, no matter what level. So if you have like zero talent for something, you can achieve something greater than where you start if you put in the time and the effort, if you work at it. This card just tells me no matter what level you're starting, the level mastery comes from practicing, doing, experiencing it, doing it over and over again. But not just over and over again, but doing it with more conviction, commitment, more agreement, that as we've understood it today. So don't be hindered by, the grass is greener, or on the other side of the fence, that kind of thing. Don't be hindered by what's going on around you and what you think other people are doing, or what you think their gifts and talents are and what yours lack. Focus on what your heart is giving you and keep doing it towards being able to master it. Okay? So you get the plans, they have to have that spiritual connection. You have to be willing to stick it out, believe in it. And if you just keep doing it, see, you don't have to just worry about guarding it, but it's also this part of just keep doing it, and it will get better, and you will have something even greater to stand up for. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and I wish you a beautiful week. God bless you.